I'd like to talk about various types of intervals. So now we're starting off with analyzing the intervals. So whenever you see the interval that is larger than octave, it's called the compound interval that we talked about in the previous class, right? So this is obviously larger than octave. So what you can do is to analyze is that you either move the highest note octave lower or move the lowest note octave higher. All right, either ways is fine, right? So this one, I'm gonna move it down by an octave. All right, so what is interval between D to E flat? So get rid of the flat, just think about the number first. So D to E is the second. All right, now we're going through the lowest note, the scale, the major scale of the lowest note. So D major scale. So D major scale has got two sharps, F sharp, C sharp. You don't need a flat on E as a second note, the supertonic, but there is a flat. That means it's been lowered. So what is the quality when you lower the major by semitone? Minor. So this is minor second, but compound. All right, because this interval is larger than octave. All right, so you lower the highest note, all right, or raise the lowest note octave higher to figure out the interval, and then you write compound in front of it. The next one, all right, so let's do the number first. So B to D, so that's the third, all right. Now we're going through the lowest note, major scale. So the major scale of the lowest note, so B major. So B major has got how many sharps? So F, C, G, D, A. 5 sharps. So do you need a sharp on D? Yes, you need one single sharp. But that has been raised double. So that means there are 2 sharps, right? So it means raised by semitone from the major third. So what is the interval when you raise the major by semitone? That becomes augmented. So that is augmented third. All right. So now we're trying to write the interval below the given note, right? So we have to write minor third below. So get rid of the sharps or flats you have, just do the number first, right? So what is a third below F? D. So let's write down the D first, right? Okay, so that's how D looks like, right? Okay, so now we have to go through the major scale of the lowest note D, all right? So D, and then what is the third of D major, right? F sharp, right? So that is actually major third, right? Okay, now you're trying to turn major into minor, right? So without any extent on the lowest note, it's D major, so major third, but now we're trying to turn it into minor by adding an accidental, right? So from D major to D minor, do we need to reduce the distance, or we have to extend the distance? We have to reduce it. So when you have to reduce it, do you need to raise the lowest note, or you have to lower the lowest note? When you have to reduce the distance, you have to raise the lowest note by semitone. So you need a sharp. Okay, so without that is a D major third, right? But we have to turn it into minor, which you have to reduce the distance by semitone from major. So that's why we need a sharp to raise the lowest note by semitone. All right, so now let's try to write the interval below the given note for augmented 6. So we just get rid of the quality. We have to think about the number first and then the quality. So what is a 6 below C? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So E is the 6 below C, all right? Now let's go through the major scale of E. You need a sharp here, but then you don't have a sharp, all right? You're supposed to have a sharp, but you don't have a sharp. That means it's been reduced by semitone, all right? Reduced by semitone, right? Okay, so, but if you have a C sharp, then it meant to be E major, right? Major 6, right? But we have to turn it into augmented 6, all right? So basically, we have to lower the lowest note by 2 semitones, all right? So you need a double flat, right? Okay, so now let's write the inversion. So the number of the inversion is the number that you subtract the given number, the given interval from number 9. so that the number of the given interval and then the inversion adds up to number 9. Again, the number of the inversion is the number that you subtract the given number from number 9. So without even drawing it, you already know the answer, but we have to go through all the steps that we need, okay? So D and then C, so that's the 7th, all right? So now we're trying to either move the highest note octave lower or the lowest note octave higher. Either ways is fine, okay? All right, in this case, I'm trying to raise the lowest note by octave, okay? So D here. All right, they both have a flat, so let's get rid of it. All right, okay, now C flat to D, but when we are analyzing, we do the number first, right? What is the C to D? Second. All right, now we take care of the flat, right? What is the C flat to D? It meant to be, without the flat, it meant to be major second, but they're lower. The bass note, semitone down, right? So that means the distance has been extended by semitone, right? So instead of major second, it's gonna be augmented second. All right, because the distance between the notes has been extended by semitone. So when you are raising major second by semitone, that becomes augmented second. All right, either move the lowest note octave higher or move the highest note octave lower. Either way is fine. So this time I'm going to move the highest note octave lower to invert. Okay. All right. So we do the number first. Okay. All right. So what is the number between C and F? That's the 4th. Okay. So now we have to go through the quality. So they both have, so I'm gonna get rid of 1 sharp for each note. All right. So you end up having 1 sharp on the highest note F. All right. So without the sharp, that meant to be perfect 4th, but they raise the highest note by semitone, so that becomes augmented 4th. All right. So when you see they both have sharps or they both have a flat, you can get rid of it to even out.